I tracked my calories for 4 months, hit my macros almost every single day, trained consistently, and did literally everything that the fitness influencers told me to do, and nothing moved, not a single pound. And I couldn't really figure out why until I started opening the literature, reading it, and doing my own research. And what I found out changed everything that I knew about fat loss. Hey girls, if you're new here, my name is Samadvita. I'm a USC student. I'm studying human bios. I'm super interested in women's health and understanding the science, breaking it down for you. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe because I'm always posting about science, fitness, and how to balance that while being ambitious. Today's the first episode of what I call the science for the ambitious girl. And I'm starting with cortisol because I genuinely believe that cortisol is one of the most misunderstood hormones and most overlooked variable when considering fat loss for women. For women who are literally juggling everything, doing everything. And if you feel like you're doing everything right, yet you're still not seeing results, this video is for you. So make sure you're subscribed and let's get into it. Alright, but first, I want you to really paint the picture. It's Tuesday, you have a lecture at 8 a.m., a meeting at noon, a deadline by 5 p.m., and you're trying to get into the gym before dinner time. You're running on 6 hours sleep, you've had coffee, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you're stressed about getting everything done before dinner time, still getting your workout done, and it's like doing 7 things simultaneously. It's not a bad day, this is just your life on repeat. This is the part that the fitness industry completely misses. Being stressed is a physiological state a lot of us feel as a busy woman, and it fundamentally changes how your body actually processes and stores fat. When fitness influencers talk about calories in, calories out, they're not wrong, but what they never account to is cortisol and stress. Chronic stress impacts you, and most of us, students, young professionals, early career, are living in a body under constant stress, and research backs that up. But first, let's talk about cortisol and what it actually is. Cortisol is a hormone released by your adrenal glands in response to stress. And I want to be crystal clear. Cortisol is not the enemy. Your body needs it. It helps you wake up in the morning. As soon as you wake up, you have a cortisol spike, and that's what helps you get out of bed. It regulates your immune system, and in short bursts, it's really helpful. The problem is chronic cortisol, when your body is under chronic stress. Not a one-off stressful event, but the constant background hum of events, deadlines, homework, projects, and it's like pressure that never really fully shuts off. Your cortisol levels stay elevated for a long time, and that changes everything. A study published by the American Journal of Physiology measured cortisol production rates directly in a group of adults, and they found that higher daily cortisol levels correlated specifically with more visceral fat. And that's the fat stored in your midsection, independent of overall body weight. Not just more fat in general, but more fat specifically in your belly. Your cortisol is literally telling your body where to park the extra energy. And this matters because visceral fat is not just an aesthetic issue, it's metabolically active. It's linked to insulin resistance, inflammation, and chronic disease risk. It's like that layered onto your most important organs. So this is not a vanity conversation, it's a health conversation. So here's the part that actually blew my mind. Your brain runs on cortisol. It's a glucose-dependent organ, and it needs a constant supply of glucose to function. So when you're studying, sitting into back-to-back meetings, grinding through a workday, your brain is burning through energy. And not the same way that your muscles do during a workout. Under chronic stress, cortisol disrupts your glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity simultaneously. And what that means practically, your body is already working harder to manage its energy when you're stressed, and then it gets a signal to hold on to those fat stores. Because from an evolutionary standpoint, stress means danger. Like, think of flight or fight. You're literally being chased by someone. It anticipates that you are going to be under food starvation or you don't have access to your resources. It's going to want to store on to the extra energy. Your body can literally not tell the difference between something safe, like a 5 p.m. deadline, versus like a tiger chasing you. The response is the same and the result is the same. Your body holds on to those extra stores. I also want to touch on something that really gets shamed on in the wellness space, which is stress eating, which a lot of us do. A study published in Health Psychology looked over 3,700 adults and found that stress related eating directly mediates the relationship between stress and weight gain, meaning that stress leads to eating behavior, which leads to body composition changes. And here's a part that's specifically important for women. The effect was significantly stronger in women than men. Women tend to go to food for coping with stress, whereas men turn to alcohol for coping with stress. That's not a willpower problem. This is your cortisol driving your brain to seek fast energy. Your body is looking for glucose, which is what your brain runs on because it thinks that you're in danger. These cravings are a hormonal response. And a Norwegian study of 23,000 people confirmed this. Psychosocial stress independently predicted higher BMI across every single weight category, even after controlling for depression, anxiety, age, income, and education. Stress was its own direct variable. Now here's the thing that's going to be uncomfortable to hear and say, and I say this because it was uncomfortable for me to learn. Research published in the Endocrinology, long word, found that caloric restriction alone increases cortisol levels, meaning that if you're chronically stressed and then you add a significant calorie deficit on top of that, you're adding more cortisol to your system. You are making the problem significantly worse. So the typical advice, eat less, stress less, be consistent, lands differently when you understand the biology. Because eat less in an already stressed body can increase cortisol and exact opposite of what you want, which is fat loss. This is not an excuse to not be in a deficit. It's an argument for being thoughtful of the size of the deficit you want and the state of your stress when you do enter a calorie deficit. Alright, now here's what you can actually do with this information. And I want to give you something real, not just
manage your stress,
which is honestly the most useless advice out there. The most interesting piece of research that I found for this video was a randomized control study published in the Journal of Obesity. They took overweight and obese women specifically, and put them through a 4-month mindfulness program focused on stress eating, not a diet, not a workout, a mindfulness program. The results, women who went through the program improved in mindfulness, reduced their anxiety, reduced their cortisol awakening response. That's a cortisol spike you get when you wake up, and it tells you a lot about your baseline stress levels. And in the women who showed the most improvement in mindfulness and stress reduction, they also saw reductions in abdominal fat over time, not from eating less, from reducing cortisol. So what does that actually look like? Here are 3 things backed up by research. First, a 5-minute body scan before going to bed. Just noticing where you're holding tension and not trying to fix it, just noticing. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is opposite of your stress response. Parasympathetic nervous system is the one that tells you to calm down. It actually stimulates your digestive system. And before you go to bed, you want to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, tell you to slow down, to rest and digest. Second, mindful eating. I know half of you are probably scrolling on your phone or maybe watching this YouTube video while you're eating. Well, I'm going to tell you to take a pause and really focus on each bite and each meal that you're eating. Maybe enjoy it with family and friends. Maybe just put your phone down for a second and enjoy the meal. Savor each bite that you're eating. Treat it as a luxury, not just a chore to eat. And this changes your response to stress eating because you're building awareness. Third, a stress audit every single week. This is where you write down exactly what is stressing you out and putting words into what you're actually feeling. So the amygdala is one controlling your stress response. That's in your brain. And it literally calms down your brain from a biological level. None of this is complicated and it's free. You can do it right now. You can start it today, tomorrow. And luckily it's all research backed. And that's why I recommend implementing these habits right away. And you'll notice a difference for yourself. All right, I want to be real with you. I spent a long time not knowing any of this. And I spent a long time thinking that my body was just not working like every other fitness influencer that I saw that got results instantaneously, or what felt like instantaneously. But what I actually had is a stress load way greater than them. For fitness influencers, their main job is to work out, to look good, and eat well. For me, my main job is to be a student, to apply to grad school, apply to internships. That's my main priority. Fitness, eating well, health is also a priority for me, but most ambitious women prioritize their career over their health. But I'm here to tell you that you can do both and get the most out of each one of them. And I had zero understanding of how this worked until now, and here I am explaining it to you after applying the habits for myself. I have research, I have the lived experience, and I want to keep sharing that with you. Episode 2 of Science for the Ambitious Girl is going live next week, and we're getting into the truth about cycle syncing. I know that you've heard about cycle syncing. I'm about to tell you, and I'm gonna break down what the research actually says about cycle syncing. And teaser, it's different than what the influencer coded charts videos tell you about it. If this helped you at all, please subscribe and follow me on all my other socials, because I'm always researching and giving you the latest women's health research and breaking down the fitness science that you never got anywhere else. By supporting me, it genuinely helps more than you ever know, so then I could keep on making videos for you. And if this resonated, drop a comment below. I read every single one of them, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.